got bit in the face by another cockatoo. And at first we didn't know how bad the wound was until it started growing out. And we discovered that he got growth plate damage. And so when it grew out, it grew straight out for a very long time. And this piece grew out straight out like a unicorn horn. And once we got past the infection, because of course it had to get infected, it grew aspergillus in the wound itself, rather than in the lung and airways. And so once we got all of that under control, then we took him to see specialist Bridget Ferguson, and we made a prosthetic beak out of resin material, like they do the patch other beaks, but it's kind of the same material a farrier would use on a horse hoof. And it was a new material that we had learned about at one of the AAV conferences, so it had almost no odor, which was great because often they're so strong you do them outside of the clinic in the fresh air. But this stuff was great. And he did really great with it, but eventually it got loose. Part of the beak kind of atrophied, and it got loose, and so we took it off. And so then we tried to do something similar up here. The first go around, it was too heavy. The second one, we used a mold of another beak. We used sculpty clay that we got at Michael's. We mashed it on another bird, and then we baked it to make a hard mold. And then we set him up with the mesh and wire, put the frame on, filled it. When it started getting hard enough, we pulled the mold off, we let it finish hardening, and then we shaped it, and he was great for about 2 weeks. And then it started getting loose again. At that time, we decided no beak, makeshift beaks for a while, and we were going to see what happened. When it started atrophying, this part started getting soft, and it started to curve down. And now it looks more normal compared to some of the original pictures where this piece was coming straight out like a horn. And as long as we we're going to trim this, but as long as we keep it trimmed, he does fantastic. He keeps his weight up, he plays with everything. He can't really chew wood, so he gets a lot of cardboard. And he needs a little help grooming from time to time. Sometimes he lets one of the girls do it, and sometimes you just have to be the human that does it. But he's fantastic. He's got all the upper beak he's really ever going to have, but it's solid, and that's what counts. It's a rough job, but some kitty has to do it.
What a rough life. Start over, please.
Philippine red vent. Malcolm. Okay. Malcolm's owner passed away.
I see.
He's about 28 years old now. His wings are broken and frozen. He doesn't really have a tail or a vent coloration. He has cancer. When he came to us, we removed 13 tumors in the first surgery. Nothing else has regrown, so we're not going to do anything invasive if we don't have to. If he loves you, he loves you. And if he doesn't love you, you're just going to be an enemy no matter how much you suck up. But he's super happy. Give him a box, give him a newspaper. He doesn't really care about wood all that much. He is all about the cardboard and the paper. And it keeps him happy and it keeps him occupied. And is that what counts? That's what I thought.
So these are wild in the Philippines?
There's only about 1,000 left on the earth.
Really? In the wild?
Yes.
And do breeders breed them for...
There are some that we breed for conservation. And there are some who breed them as pets. I know somebody in Oregon. I think it's Oregon. Yeah. This is Molly. She pretty much hates everybody.
Oh yeah?
She has a love-hate relationship with my one volunteer that's good with macaws. She is really in charge. The last when they can't keep the cloaca in. They push it out. For females, they will do it naturally when they push out an egg and it will go back in. It becomes a hormonal gesture with females, with males. Oversexed and underscrewed is the common phrase I use. But hormones in males will do it. They'll do it for attention. And sometimes you can have a surgery done where it's sucked up inside and attached to the 2 lower ribs for anchor. And sometimes they'll continue to push and they'll tear off the sutures and they'll cause all kinds of problems. A female that prolapses with an egg and doesn't retract and all the innards come out because the uterus and everything else is in line with that will generally die because they will go into shock too rapidly. The normalness of passing an egg, it kind of goes out and comes back in because it's pushing the egg all the way through. And it goes back in. And so a residual of a bird that's had surgery is to often have a diarrhea type situation. So you wash it a lot. And sometimes you feel like you can't stay on top of it no matter how many times you wash it.
Hello. Hello.
This is Lola, our cross-dresser.
You're what?
Cross-dresser.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, hello there.
And you caught us on a day where our wood isn't here at the moment, so I can't refill anybody's toy stick. So we've got our standard of nuts, almonds, pistachios, peanuts, walnuts. I've got Abbey cakes, which I cut into little pieces. I've got what I call fake nuts, which are just the nuts out of shell, because not all the birds know what a shell is. And then I've got a seed mix. It's Volkmann's large hookbill, no sunflower. And the regular pellets are Pretty Bird, Fruity Zupreme, Rowdy Bush, Lefebvre's, and Natural Zupreme. This is a mix of all of those, plus vegetable Zupreme and the nut blend Zupreme. We call it our aviary mix because I do have birds who aren't picky and they'll eat anything. And in group caging, which is something we're hoping to build out in this room instead of having individual cages, when you have groups of birds together, you have a better chance of getting them to eat a variety. Because they look at their neighbor and figure that the neighbor hasn't died eating the pink pellet or the brown pellet, and then they'll try it. The monkey see, monkey do philosophy. And because we didn't want to be simple, everybody eats something different. We wouldn't want to have it any other way, right?
Right.
Hi, Nikki, what are you doing? Breaking another deal. Helpful, bud. No. He has a 1 box a day habit.
Ah.
Hi, Amber.
He's so neat about where he places his 1 box a day's detritus.
Yeah. He does go through a box a day, though. Definitely want to reach my hand in. Am I going to have to fix that? I'll get to a point where I can build out the aviaries better, or a structure. It's not one of them really cares about grapes a whole lot, but I like to pretend they might someday.
Keep trying, right?
Off-site, so I have a safe house that does quarantine, and birds coming in from an unknown have to go to a vet before coming here and be cleared. Generally, if it's a bird that's been alone all its life, it's pretty much been quarantined, so as long as it passes the vet, then it can come here. If anything abnormal picks up, if it can't go to my quarantine house, it'll stay at the vet's office. To be clear before it comes through here.
And what are the most common problems that you see when people relinquish their birds?
Common problems? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, is it health problems, or behavioral problems? What is?
The most common are either behavioral or the economy. Something in their life. They're having to move back in with mom and dad, or they're having to take mom and dad in, or they're having to downsize from a house where noise isn't a problem to a little apartment.
What would be your advice to somebody who's thinking about getting a cockatoo or a parrot in general?
Don't. My advice would be volunteer for about 100 hours at a sanctuary or rescue center and really see all the types that come through the door and why they come through the door. Because it's not all pretty feathers and roses and sunshine. It's a hard knock life. They don't deserve to be in a cage. They didn't ask to be in our world. And we owe them more than we can technically give them. You want to get that out of your system? Okay. No biting the mom. No biting mom. Here. You got that? Excellent. That's a good boy. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. No. No biting mom. And no biting mom on camera. Yeah, I know. If you fly in here, you'll make this sound even lighter. Get that out of your system, too. You want to be a hat? Could be a hat. Be a hat. No, just later, be a hat. Nope, he's not going to tie her then. What are you going to do? Nice. Come here. You have sticks. You look down on things. Come here. Hop. 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 boy! Hi, baby. Yeah. You're in almost social mood. That's good. Not about anything else. It's about the bird. It has to be about the bird and nothing else. Or I'm not in it for the right reasons. King's cages, preferably. And most of the rest have come in with the birds. Sometimes they're donated from other people who have upgraded or downgraded or their bird passed away. You know, we always make sure it's not fatally contagious reasons. And they're still going to get sanitized and sterilized, but to the best of our ability. But if I had to choose, I really like King's cages. I like the consistency and the fact that everybody uses the same size dish. They're metal and they don't break when they hit the cement floor.
Right. Hoppy, 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 hoppy.
Where are you going? Hi, come here. Totally the biggest cam we have.
That's a female? What's her name again?
Polly.
Polly. And how old is she? We don't know.
Around 10. Polly and her pink sister were raised together from hatching. They weaned together. They've always been together. Their owner died of brain cancer. And we had a home for them at one time, but the pink one started mutilating. And it got to be too much for that person. So they came back. And she's managed. So if you're not afraid of throwing a collar at a bird once in a while, then they're fabulous. I'll keep my distance, thank you. Here's your nuts and fruit. I'll just be over here.
So what happened with this one?
Eric's Moluccan got out of the cage and then started liberating others and attacked this Amazon. Now this Amazon's already blind in one eye, so didn't see the attack coming and was startled by the bird, turned and bit at the Moluccan, so a fight ensued. She got bit in the face, she got mangled pretty good on the wing, and initially we were letting the clot heal, and when the scab fell off I took a closer look at it and said I think we have a bone problem here, and took her into the vet and determined that it wasn't going to heal properly. It was exposed bone. The bone was gone. It wasn't like it was fractured and needed to heal. It was gone. And so in order to avoid osteomyelitis or other complications, we amputated the half of the wing. don't eat that color. Okay, then you eat that color. Are we behaving? We are behaving. Peekaboo twins. The silly girl. And this was your idea. That's my token dew corpse in all her naked glory.
Hi.
Scruffy Joe. You're very handsome.
Hello, Cody.
I was smart enough to leave my phone. Look at you being all healthy now.
So tell us her story. His story.
She was one of my own. My husband and I bought her when she was 8 months old, 23 years ago. And back then, long before we ever dreamt of doing rescue, we had her and a couple of cockatoos and a little conure and a pair of parakeets. And then one day I got a call from the gal that we got her from who asked if we wanted another macaw. I said, why? And she said, oh, it's kind of screaming and biting its way out of house and home. Oh, and you thought of us. Why? And that's how we got Hannibal, which is the harlequin in the barn.
Ah, okay.
And
well, hello there.
this is my girl, and she's an education bird. She's fantastic with people of all ages. She was a day one baby. She doesn't know how to be aggressive. She can be cage protective, but once she's out of the cage, her behavior is amazing. And she's feeling so much better. She's doing all her regular stuff.
You don't know what it was then, huh?
We have no idea what really set it off.
So when you say she's an education bird, what exactly do you do?
I take her to schools, public speaking engagements. I've taken her to Boy Scout jamborees where you're surrounded by a few hundred Boy Scouts of all ages. Taken her to Girl Scout camps, FFA groups, 4-H groups, Rotary clubs, nursing homes. Last year a nursery school.
And the purpose?
Just telling people about parrots, talking about how, basically about the birds and then about what we do and why we exist. But it's helpful, especially with children, to have something very colorful to get their attention.
Sure, yeah.
And the fact that she can sit on all the children. She'll climb from child to child without hesitation. Which makes her...
And she's never bitten anybody, huh?
She has a couple of times, but she's not aggressive. Like that one there would rather bite you than ask your name. Those two little green ones hate everybody.
Really?
Except Justin.
So he's missing a foot.
Yeah.
How'd he lose his foot?
He used to be outside in the aviaries year round until one night he slept a little too close to a wall and a raccoon said, "Mine."
Wow.
Yeah. Raccoons. And it was cold enough, he didn't freeze, well, he didn't freeze to death, but he also didn't bleed out.
Because it was cold.
It was very cold that night. And for whatever reason, we got lucky, because it should have bled out the femoral artery and it didn't. We got him.
So raccoons will eat birds?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. They're opportunistic carnivores. Hi. Is your mama's boy? Yeah. Are you my Technicolor cockatoo? Yes, you are, aren't you? He's my Technicolor cockatoo. He's the old man. He's like 40.
Really?
Yeah. Sophia on the right, Mango in the green. They are two of the longest inhabitants that have lived here. They came up from California with me in 2001. I've had Mango since 1996 and Sophie since 1997. And they are pretty good friends.
Meow.
Get into Ziplocs, and then I make up bags, and I take the bags to the various rooms. And I do, after feeding, I refill all the jars, so the next day I can just jump right in and start feeding.